we're going to the last Drupal decoupled misconception that it's you miss important features like web forms. What key features do organizations worry about losing? I mean, we already talked a little bit about this. We are mentioning web forms in this example, but what else? What else do organizations worry about?
People tend to worry about, like preview, as we mentioned, like previews, like, like revisions, like content moderation, access control, and web forms. But you can still take advantage of all those, awesome features from Drupal. And just talking about forms and form submission. This is something we are used to like do a lot on sites, not only Drupal site, having forms, people enter data on those boxes, click submit, and send that data back to us. And that data could be like people registering for for a campaign or a webinar, or maybe people want to download the white paper, just you name it, could be anything. And
Right, right.
there are different ways to achieve this in Drupal.
Mm,
And I would say this could be maybe having a form and posting that data to an external API, might be an Airtable, might be like an external CRM system. Another way it's having a custom mm, graphical mutation or custom controller that you post the data, and at that point you can get the data in a store either in a content type or do whatever you want to do that, or you can keep using web form, because
mm.
this is something we have already. I mean, as a feature on Drupal Decoupled. So, and I can tell you a little about how that
Yeah, yeah,
how,
yeah.
how
Like
that
that.
works.
That was my question. Like, how do they work in a decoupled setup, like Drupal decoupled?
Kind of similar as the other. You basically go to the web form UI, click boxes and create a form, adding fields, and once you have that ready, and definitely just make some configuration who can submit, who can access whatever. Again, that's a Drupal thing. Clicking boxes,
Okay.
and from there you need to create your form, your UI form using like React. That could be either you hard code your form fields like manually by hand, or
Mm,
you can just implement a process for generating the form based on the form configuration. So you can use the GraphQL Compose web form module that allow you to pull the form fields and settings based on the web form that you pre-configure in your Drupal site, and you can use that data for generate your form on the fly if you want to, right? So it's up to you. Either you want to like hard code it and have more control over what you have, or maybe use this a system for like a library or something for automatically generate your form based on the settings that the system is providing you. And once you have the data, you can use the mutation that is provided by the module as well
mm,
to post the data back. And once you have the data back on the submission, at that point you are again back to Drupal. So you can implement any
mm.
handlers, posting to a CRM system, or taking a look at the at the form submission on the Drupal back office. So again, you are on Drupal world, so you can do anything
Yeah.
that you are used to do in the past.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are not that constrained as you may think, no? Because it's actually you go back to what you already know, no? Um,
Exactly.
so basically, well, maybe just to round up, like the what are the popular features that are maintained, no? Because in general we think that, like we were saying, so you miss those important features, but it seems like mainly most of them you can have them without a problem, right?
Yeah, preview, revisions, content moderation, access control. In the end, things doesn't change that much. You can still taking advantage of Drupal and keep using it as a CMS.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes maybe you can have these security concerns, but you keep all this access control, no? Because you are using these models, simple auth and all these authorization methods that you have in Drupal. So it doesn't change that much, right?
No, because whenever, when you use the simple auth module, it's what you end up doing. It's connecting, as a user with a certain role. So again, access control and all that is just the same.
Right, right.
Instead of logging through the Drupal form, you log into a different way, or by maybe you use client secret and client ID on your front implementation, and you act as an user with a certain role when you're interacting with the system. If at some point you need to have a login form, you can still do that through the module as well. So and at that point, you can have, a user login with a user and password that will be recognized by the system. And once you are logging into the system, again, you also have access to I mean, to the roles and the permissions that user has.